You should know that clearly that is over now. Now you go to only Brahmajnana.
Very true.
And after that, there is no difference between, because it is out of this religion thinking at all. This is completely spiritual. You don't hate anything. Everything all inclusive. Go to Guru, get jnana, maybe till the age of 15, 16 something, then you will be on your own.
Yes.
So no complication. Like what you have explained today, there is no matha, nothing there. You just explained your insight and how to attain that next stage.
Yes.
And just for identification, name is given. Otherwise, that is also not required. Stages.
Yes. So the name is there for finding out something. Just like I say, this home number is so and so. You require. Otherwise, they're all.
Yeah, because you have mentioned there today that you don't have to ask anybody. You can identify yourself where you are.
Correct. Very true.
And at one point in time, you have mentioned that the moment you recall all your previous janma means you have reached that stage.
Correct. That is true.
Okay, thank you. You can go ahead with your regular.
Okay, no problem.
That's outcome of listening to your today's audio. Yeah.
No problem. So now we come to the 60th verse. This is a beautiful one. He talks about Shabda Jalam, Maha Aranyam, Chitta Brahmana Karanam, Ataha Prayatnat Gnatavyam Tattvajnyaha Tattvam Atmanaha. So he says, this is what I was telling Lata long time ago, don't read books. So here is the 60th verse which talks about that. Books and philosophies is a thick jungle. Chitta Brahmana Karanam, they cause confusion in the mind. Ataha Prayatnat Gnatavyam, therefore through the right efforts alone should be known. Tattvajnanaihi Tattvam Atmanaha, the real nature of self by the true seeker of God. That means this is another danger. The danger here is either the person starts reading many books of many writers and wasting time in understanding many philosophies and questioning one philosophy or the other philosophy. Let's say I am a follower of Madhva, then I like Shankara, so I'll read Shankara and I will question what is Madhva. So there is this Tattvavada of Madhva, so then I read that and then I will get through some people, ask them, question them, because now I am partially running towards Shankara but partially also towards Madhva because I am born in a Madhva family. Now there is tremendous amount of confusion which is happening between Madhva philosophy and Shankara philosophy. Now you have to choose either one of them. Either I have to stand with the Madhva philosophy or I should stand with the Shankara philosophy. Now let's say I go through it and I start abusing Shankara philosophy. What I just now did is that I created a kind of hatredness in the mind. And when the hatredness comes, it becomes dvesha. So raga, dvesha, moha, in that the dvesha has started. Dvesha against Shankara and Raga against Madhva, or other way around. Dvesha against Madhva and Raga against Shankara. This is what reading of philosophy will do. So now the question comes, without doing any one of this, how can one achieve? It looks very strange. So for that only Shankara says that you first have to approach a teacher who has seen Brahman and he knows how to show to you. Only then it is possible for you to leave all of this. If you have not got a teacher so far, you are searching in dark. and all of these are equivalent to darkness. So if you stumble upon something, it's okay. If you don't stumble upon something, that means that is what it is supposed to be in the first place. So there is no way you can have something working at all. So he cautions it, saying that don't go with books and philosophies. And he concludes that with the 61st verse. Only knowledge of self can help. Ajnana sarpa dhashthayaha, dhashtasya brahma jnana aushadam vina kimu vedaihi cha shastraihi cha kimu mantraihi kim औषधैः अज्ञान सर्प दष्टस्य. So all of this, that is starting with the 51st verse, 52nd to 60th verse, all these are like sarpa, snakes. They keep on stinging. Aspect of ignorance, nothing else. The only aushadha or the medicine is to know the Brahma. Of what use are the Vedas and scriptures, and what is the use of mantras when they are not the medicines? So now that concludes on what you should not do. So I don't know how Shankara would have faced this, people would have criticized him so much for talking all of this, that you should not be doing. Now the question comes, if you read Vivekachudamani, did he really write that Saundarya Lahari? Did he really write Lalita Sahasranama? Did he really preach that people should bath in different rivers? Is a question mark. Because even that people claim that this Mahakumbha or this Kumbha Mela, Ardha Kumbha and Mahakumbha was proposed by Shankara. We don't know which Shankara it is, but that is what people say. But reading this, nowhere it says that you should be doing any one of this. So the choice is with the person to accept to this or say that no, just to please others he would have written that. Just like if we read all the Sahasranamas, what Shankara has written, and you refer to this 55th verse, he says that is a chain of bondage. So how can that person would have written it is a question. It's just a question. It's just a debatable question. Because this is the only Mahavakya of Shankara which will help someone to get into realization, not any other. Okay, then we come to direct experiences. 62nd verse. Na gacchati vina panam vyadhi raushadha shabdataha vina paro jnanubhavam brahma shabdairnya muchyate. So the disease, now the problem is, there are people who go to the doctor and they show themselves, and then doctor says, do this. Morning, take this medicine. Afternoon, take this medicine. Evening, take this medicine. And they come home. They have great faith in the doctor, great belief in the doctor. So what they do is they put it near their place and they start praying to the doctor once in the morning, once in the afternoon, once in the evening. Once in the morning, once in the afternoon, one in the evening. By doing that, no disease will go away. So he says, na gacchati vinapanam vyadihi aushadaha shabdataha. Just by uttering the name of the medicine and saying how many times it has to be taken, the disease is not going to go away. In the same way, vina aparoksha anubhavam brahma shabdaihi namuchyate. Uttering Brahman name is not going to help. So you have to have aparoksha anubhuti for yourself. By dropping all of them, what he has said from 51 to 60, those 9 things, 61, those 9 things or 10 things, what is mentioned there, if we were to drop, then the Jagat goes away. So the easy way to do it is, first watch what is Jagat. Jagat is made out of name and forms. So if you're identifying something, that means it is Jagat, the world. So a very easy technique which I told you some days ago is, wherever you are sitting is Satya, the remaining is Mithya. So if I were to get up from this chair, if I were to apply the entropy and entropy, then I can see that the heat is going away. So if I were to get up and watch, only the heat is felt, and after some time the heat goes away. Okay. When I look at the enthalpy for sustenance, what I'm doing is I'm giving that energy. As long as that energy is given, it sustains. So the atoms will stick on together till the energy is given, but it creates heat. So the ones that means order and disorder. So enthalpy creates order and entropy is disorder. So that means by nature everything is disordered. You have to put in effort to make something in order. Okay, so if we were to look at it from this perspective, then the world, what we create is enthalpy. It is not entropy. Sorry, the nature is entropy, but the world is enthalpy. It doesn't stay. You have to keep on giving reasons for it to stay. If you remove the reason, that will go away. So when we go to sleep, the world goes away because there is no reason for it to appear. So the place where I am sitting, if I were to get up and stand, now the heat is getting dissipated on the ground, no more on the chair. If I am able to watch that wherever this consciousness is, there alone is existence. If that is not there, then there is no existence. So when we call existence Sat, it means it has to have some energy, heat. But by nature, the energy keeps on dissipating. You cannot hold the energy. So when we take tea or coffee or hot or whatever, when we heat it up, we are doing enthalpy. But when you stop doing it, heat normally dissipates. So this combination of enthalpy and entropy creates this Maya, or what we call as Maya, which creates mithya jnana, that is distorted knowledge. And in distorted knowledge, only name and forms comes into existence, and that has to be negated. Then you will see the Brahma or the Brahman. Because of that, the last line, what he says, muktir ukti matra phalair nrunam. If without knowing it, without negating the world, without taking the trouble of understanding why we are putting enthalpy, that effort to create the world, just by uttering Brahman, it will not set anybody free. Any questions on this enthalpy and entropy kind of way of looking?
I have not fully understood. I'm just trying to follow.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is that there are 4 laws of thermodynamics. So the first law of thermodynamics says that matter can never be created nor destroyed. It is as good as Prakriti
Yes.
and Purusha.
Yes.
Okay, and by nature everything is entropy. What is the meaning of entropy is it keeps on dissipating energy, which is true, right? So what example I was giving is the place where you're sitting. If you were to stand up, what happens to the place you were sitting? You no longer are there in the chair. And if you were to touch the place where you had sat, it will be warm. That is the only pramana to show that somebody was sitting. It's not you were sitting. It was only somebody who was sitting. Right? So in that way, the name and form is gone. If you were to look at Brahman, how to experience Brahman right now, this is the only example you can have. Now you get up of the chair, put your hand on the chair, and you will find it warm.
Energy dissipation happens, I get that feel of hot. Wow.
And that is what consciousness is all about. It keeps on going away.
1 minute, that heat, what we are calling that heat as, is it the Brahman there?
Yes, that is the energy, right?
Or given an example of, something similar.
No. The heat, what is there?
Yes.
See, all that what we say, Brahman is the light, correct?
Yes.
What is light? Which has heat, which is energy, right?
Energy. It is there built in heat also. It can convert the light to heat easily.
Yes, the light becomes heat. You are light, but it has heat.
Yes.
As its core. So you are a radiation, basically. You radiate energy. Correct. You, I, Padma Shri, Lata, everybody radiates energy. And that energy is called as aura.
Yes.
Okay, so we have again named it. It is only name and form. You don't see aura. What you see is energy.
Yes.
Correct. Now you get up from your chair and you touch the place where you were sitting. Now you don't see yourself sitting anymore except for the heat. That is the only pramana.
Correct.
After some time it becomes cold. That means the heat gets dissipated.
Yes.
Isn't it the same happening in all the bodies?
Yes, it's the same behavior. Physical.
And that consciousness which moves like this in every forms is Brahman.
Anywhere if you see energy, that is Brahman.
Correct. That's all what it is.
Okay, got it.
It's not my Brahman. So this is the easy demonstration.
Yeah, I think best example, understood.
So
Light is not visible, but if you put some particles, light is visible because of the reflection.
correct.
Depending on the characteristics of the particle, the heat is generated.
Correct.
More or less or whatever.
No, this heat is
So now
generated.
that light, basically, if you see that, there is no heat in that. But because of this, the heat is generated.
Correct.
Now that heat can be used in whatever the way you want again.
Correct.
You can generate electricity, you can heat something.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can do everything. So that is what is called as Brahman. Simple. So now if I want to become Brahman, what I should do? Drop all names and forms. Stop the Jagat.
Yes.
That is what he says. Stop the Jagat. Unless you stop the Jagat, it's not going to happen. Akritva Drishya Vilayam.
Okay, I will ask one question here.
Yes.
A tree, a plant you take, vegetable plant, in 3 months, a tomato, it will give that tomato, what do you call that, vegetable.
Right.
And it is a Prakriti Sahaja Niyama.
Correct.
Tomato will give tomato and mangoes will give mangoes.
Correct.
Now, human being also designed something similar way in the Prakriti. At some age, you will have all hormone changes and all that. Finally, you will have that power of reproductivity, and then children will be there and growth, and finally you are dying.
Correct.
All that is a sahaja.
Correct.
But if you go against that, it is asahaja.
Correct.
And anything going against that is also, we are telling here sannyasatva, because you don't do all that, because you should be doing only brahmajnana.
Correct.
We also heard that all samsaris also 100% eligible for moksha.
Right. True. 100%.
Yeah. Then why we are promoting so much for you follow only that, leave everything? Because whatever happens sahaja in the body, you have to respect it, right?
Yes, absolutely. No doubt. Now what we are talking...
Is there a speed at which sannyasi is going faster than samsari? Not necessary.
No, not at all.
Then why we are promoting so much for sannyasatva? I agree, sannyasatva should be inside.
I am also talking only inside. I am not talking outside at all.
Yeah, but here this all something happens external when look and feel as a sannyasi. But inside sannyasi, everybody is having the same adhikara, same way they can do it. Maybe samsari may have even one more additional advantage, that he's getting the right, what you call, to practice really in the samsara. For sannyasi, there is nothing around. Here, like Arjuna, he had war field and he felt it, that Vishwarupa and all that in that, because he has properly implemented it. With the help of Guru, here Sri Krishna is a Guru. Similarly, in our samsara, same way doing everything, we can achieve that Dvijatva, Brahmanatva and Brahmajnana.
No, there is no differentiation. See, the thing is, it is a misunderstanding. Now, what even Shankara is saying, or what I am also trying to say, is drop the world in your mind. It is the mind which is creating the world, not external anything to you. I'll give an example, but now there is no wife. There is a GV at my home. There are two GVs at my home. The whole way of looking itself will change if I consider as two GVs staying along with me, the third GV. So there is no Jagat. Actual fact is there are three GVs. There are no husband, wife and a son staying here. It is three GVs who are staying. Now it makes even more easier. If I consider that I am the husband and she is the wife and he is my son, that becomes an adhikara orientation.
Yes.
Now the Jagat is created. Now you deal with the same thing. See, I have to deal with the same problem that this person, this GV, who has taken the role of a son, is young. He is in his 20s and he has to be guided. He's a male and he has to be guided. And there is another GV in a female form taking the role of a wife, and she is helping me and I am helping her to run the family. What is this family? Family is the world. Now if I remove the loka itself, then there is no world. It is only three GVs. Now what happens? The GV and Ishvara are the only two things now has to be solved. No longer can be associated as a Jagat. So now what I can see is the three GVs, what is the common factor here? The common factor is the consciousness. The GV is going to exist as long as the consciousness is there. Right? It is not because I wish that they stay, I wish they have to happen this way, that way. That is not true. What is true is that they are going to live as long as they have Ayush and as long as the consciousness stays in that body. So what should I do now? Help the GV as much as you can as another GV. And what those two GVs has to do, help the other two GVs as much as they can. So because three GVs have come into samsara, they are supposed to achieve something. So may they achieve what they want to achieve in this life and vacate this place and not come back again. So there is no Jagat. Now I am eligible to have the Brahma Jnana because I have to only deal with Ishvara and GV. I don't have to deal with Jagat. If I come to Jagat, it's only name and forms, which doesn't exist. I have to fight, but it doesn't exist. See, husband never exists, wife never exists, son never exists, but I am fighting for wife, son and husband. It doesn't exist, no matter how much I do. If it were to come, fine, but it was not there. See, if I were to search for Vilas, I cannot find. What I can find is a GV, absolutely true. And GV has been named as Vilas, but GV is not Vilas. It's just a GV. If I come to the Jagat portion, it becomes Vilas. So now I have to deal with GV, Jagat, Ishvara. Now this GV cannot deal with Jagat because Jagat is full of complications and it is full of anxiety because it never existed in the first place. So I drop the Jagat. Now it becomes very easy, very calm because I have to deal with only GV and Ishvara. And I know for sure GV is going to exist as long as Ishvara is there. So now what I should do? Drop the GV also so that I become Ishvara. That is Brahman. It's very simple. If we were to really sit and analyze, it becomes really simple. We don't have to go through hundreds of philosophies. We don't even have to go to Buddha's philosophy or this philosophy, that philosophy. Very simple. GV, Jagat, Ishvara. Jagat has to be negated. First thing. Then you leave it Ishvara and GV. Then you investigate the GV. Can the GV live without Ishvara? No. That means if I become an existence on my own, it's not possible. So I have to drop GV also. So the association with GV is gone. Ishvara is the final outcome. So that becomes Parameshvara. So what is the practice? This is very simple practice. Get up from your seat and see the heat. After some time, it dissipates. There is no heat anymore. It becomes cold. When you see this coldness, heat, it is entropy because the heat keeps on going away. Enthalpy is that you are adding heat, you are adding something to it to stabilize. So the Srishti, Sthiti, Laya, if you take the three states, Srishti is the sitting, the heat is there. Sthiti, as long as you are there, the heat is maintained. Once you go away, it becomes laya. So once I move from this room to another room, this room becomes laya. There is no longer room. In my mind, the room exists, but in reality, there is no room. Same way, I have a sun. No, as long as you identify there is a sun, there is a sun. The moment the identification is gone, the Jagat is gone, what you are left out really is a Jivi. Because at the time of conception, only Jivi has come. There was no figure at all. So the Jivi has come, and Jivi has taken a shape of the body. So you are not abusing the nature. Meaning your question was, should we abuse the nature by negating it? No, don't do that. And you can't do it also. So it is a bija. And because of the bija, it will provide in that way. So a plant will grow in one particular way, animal will grow in one particular way, insects will grow in another particular way, and humans will grow in another particular way, the devas will grow in another particular way, the Brahma will grow in another particular way. But underlying of all of that is a jiva only. So,
so Prakriti Sahaja Niyama,
yes,
we should follow here.
You are following, right? You are not changing from one to another.
Yes.
You are appreciating the nature and you are appreciating the Brahman. Both. So,
yes,
matter can never be created nor destroyed. You are accepting to that, and you are also accepting that energy can never be produced nor destroyed. It is there. Both are there.
Correct.
The milana, that means this coming together, is the one what we call as human being or plant or animal or bird or this or that. So you are able to understand Prakriti remains as Prakriti forever, Purusha will remain Purusha forever.
See, Prakriti, Purusha, Milana is nothing but some Srishti. New things are happening. And here, what you are trying to do in all these spiritual exercises, our body, manas, everything is a Prakriti. What we are trying to do is, we are just separating it out through meditation technique.
Correct.
Yeah.
Very correct.
So that is the reason we will not mess up with the Prakriti.
Yes, you will not mess up with Prakriti. There's no point in messing up with Prakriti because you cannot. Being a Prakriti, you cannot mess up with Prakriti.
Very clear message. Yeah.
So what we have to do is very simple. It's the 63rd verse. If you were to implement it in your life, in your home, but there are 4 beings, 4 Jivi. 2 of them are staying in America, 2 of them are here. Don't name them as daughter or wife or anything. There are 4 Jivis only, which is real. That is a Satya. Mithya is 2 daughters, 1 wife and 1 you. That's Mithya. Satya is 4 Jivis are there. And those 2 Jivis who are in America, their life belonged to America, so they are in America. So those 2 Jivis were to be born here, study here, and go to America and settle down. But they are still Jivi only. So their food was promised in that land. Your food is promised in this land. So 4 Jivis. So 2 are already gone. They have settled down in America. But right now those 2 Jivis are not there at your home anyway. So you're left with only 2 Jivis. That is you and another Jivi. So you have to help that Jivi has to help you. So if somebody were to ask how many people you have at your home, 2, not 4. The Mithya is your other bedroom or other this one, you call that as my daughter's room. That is Mithya. Because there is no Jivi there. You are creating a Jagat which never existed. So if you are able to remove the Jagat, life becomes very easy.
Yeah, in the current moment, if you deal, there is nothing called somebody's room. I am sitting in this room, that is currently it is right. But other rooms, there is no one.
There's no one. So there is shunya.
Yeah.
So now, by reflecting upon your daughters, what is going to happen? You're creating memories.
Yeah, that is unnecessary, creating both raga and dvesha.
Correct. So one is in Texas and another one is California. So you have to create Texas in your mind and you have to create California in your mind. Both are mithya. They both are at present sleeping. Or it is evening there. Okay. Late in the evening for one and just evening for another.
Other one is sleeping already.
Yeah. So now if you really watch this fun, you are in a mithya loka. You are imagining. You don't know what your daughter is actually doing. The moment you put...
Yeah, no point in worrying.
Yes, no point in worrying. The moment you...
I got it. When you are discussing, talking, using this virtual media, that time you have some experience.
Correct. So if you are talking on Skype or you're talking on WhatsApp or you're talking somebody, what you need to do is remove the Jagat, consider them as Jivi. That is the truth.
Actually, using all these words and everything, when interaction happens, there can be neutral feeling, that will be negative feeling or positive feeling.
Correct. So the three feelings.
Only those three things is happening during that time. And after you come back, only memory creates worries.
Yes. So that is what Buddha says, that everything is feeling oriented. You feel she is your daughter.
So meditation is exactly that, right? I should not have any feeling. Be in the present moment over.
No. You should have neutral feeling, not any feeling. You should have neutral feeling. Because it is the Jivi whom you are talking to. You are not talking
to... But the neutral feeling is nothing but no feeling, right?
Yes, neutral feeling is no feeling. But what will happen is your heart starts expanding. So that's a different feeling altogether what Lata experienced. Okay.
Yes.
Once that you experience it, what happens is it will remove all names and forms forever. So all the names and forms are gone. Staying in that state is Brahman. That's all. So it's a very simple exercise. So now if you go to office, when you are talking to people in your team or whatever you're talking, don't put names. Put them as Jivi in your mind. Like you are a Jivi, that is also a Jivi. The Jivi is having another three things with it. What? It has the Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. And it has Raga, Dvesha, Moha. That's all. That is all what it is. The whole Yuddha or the warfare is only on these six things. Raga, Dvesha, Moha, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. That's all. Now if you were to identify someone, you are identifying based upon the Sattva Guna, Rajas Guna, Tamo Guna. And that person will present himself in Raga or Dvesha or Moha. So what is the point in arguing or fighting with that person when you are able to see that this person is coming up with Sattva, this person is coming up with Tamas, this person is coming up with Rajas, that Jivi is coming up with these three. So there is no person. When there is no person, there is no agitation in your mind. When there is no agitation in your mind, you are at peace. Because there is no world. So you have to negate the world.
Yes.
And that is what he speaks in 64th, which we can take it tomorrow. It is already 9:31. I don't mind continuing.
Yeah, sure. Yes. 9:31. I forgot the time also.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah. Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you, Las. Bye.
Thank you. Yeah, bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.